Most people assume that facial aging is an unavoidable consequence of time. They believe wrinkles appear because years pass, skin loosens because gravity pulls, and expression fades because the body simply wears out. This belief is comforting because it removes responsibility. If aging is only about time or genetics, then nothing can be done except to cover it, delay it, or accept it. But if you observe the human face carefully, you will realize that aging begins long before the skin changes. It begins with tension, silent, unconscious, and habitual tension that settles into the face, the jaw, the eyes, and the breath. The face is one of the most active muscular structures in the body. Every emotion you suppress, every thought you repeat, every stress you endure leaves a trace there. The forehead tightens when the mind worries. The eyes narrow when attention becomes sharp and defensive. The jaw clenches when emotions are swallowed instead of expressed. Over time, these reactions stop being temporary responses and become permanent states. Muscles forget how to release. Nerves forget how to soften. What we later call aging is often the visible result of this long-term contraction. Unconscious tension is different from effort. Effort comes and goes. Tension stays. Most people are not aware of how much tension they carry in their face because it has become normal. They wake up with it. They speak with it. They even sleep with it. The face is rarely at rest. Even in moments of silence, the brow is slightly furrowed, the eyes are holding focus, the jaw is tight. This constant activity restricts blood flow, compresses nerves, and reduces the natural elasticity of the tissues. Skin that is not well nourished from within loses its vitality, regardless of age. The jaw plays a central role in this process. It is one of the strongest joints in the body and also one of the most emotionally charged. Stress, frustration, anger, and fear often collect there. Many people grind their teeth at night, clench during the day, or hold the jaw rigid without realizing it. This tension affects the entire face. It pulls on the cheeks, the temples, the neck, and even the posture. Over time, it changes facial structure, not just skin texture. What appears as sagging or asymmetry often originates from chronic muscular imbalance. The eyes reveal another layer of aging. When the mind is constantly alert, comparing, judging, or anticipating, the muscles around the eyes remain engaged. Softness disappears. The eyes lose depth and warmth. Fine lines form not because of smiling or expression, but because of constant vigilance. A relaxed eye area reflects a relaxed mind. When the mind never rests, the eyes never rest either, and the face ages faster as a result. Breath is the invisible link between the mind and the face. Shallow, rushed breathing keeps the nervous system in a state of low-level alarm. When the breath is restricted, oxygen delivery decreases, circulation weakens, and the body prioritizes survival over renewal. The face, being non-essential for survival, is one of the first areas to lose vitality. Poor breathing patterns directly affect skin tone, muscle recovery, and cellular repair. Many people attempt to improve their appearance without ever addressing how they breathe, even though breath influences every regenerative process in the body. Genetics do play a role, but they set potential, not destiny. Two people with similar genetic backgrounds can age in completely different ways depending on how they carry tension. Time passes equally for everyone, but tension accumulates differently. Some faces remain open, soft, and expressive even in later years, others hard and early. This difference is not luck. It is the result of how the nervous system has been trained over decades. Unconscious tension also reflects how a person relates to life. Those who resist constantly, who carry mental pressure, who live in continuous internal dialogue, often show it on their face. The body does not separate psychological stress from physical stress. It records everything. The face becomes a map of habits, how you think, how you react, how you hold yourself when no one is watching. When tension becomes chronic, the body adapts by reinforcing it. Muscles shorten, fascia thickens, movement becomes limited. At this point, aging seems inevitable because the body has forgotten another way of being. But this forgetting is learned, and anything learned can be unlearned. The key is awareness. You cannot release what you do not feel. The moment you begin to observe the face without judgment, tension starts to reveal itself. True reversal of facial aging does not come from forcing muscles into new shapes or stimulating the skin from the outside. It comes from teaching the nervous system that it no longer needs to hold. When the system feels safe, relaxation occurs naturally. Blood flow improves. Muscles regain balance. Skin responds because the internal environment has changed. This process is slow but authentic. It restores function first and appearance follows. Facial youthfulness is not about smoothness or tightness. It is about aliveness. A face that moves freely, rests deeply, and expresses naturally will always appear younger than a face that is rigid, controlled, and tense. Time will pass regardless. Genetics will play their role. But unconscious tension is the factor that accelerates decay. When tension is reduced, aging slows, not because you are fighting nature, but because you are no longer working against it. To age well is not to avoid lines, but to avoid hardness. Softness comes from inner stillness. When the mind learns to rest, the face remembers how to rest. And when the face rests, it no longer carries the weight of years that were never meant to be held there. Most people search for complex solutions to simple problems. When it comes to aging, they look for advanced treatments, expensive routines, or external interventions while ignoring the most powerful tool they already possess, the ability to regulate their own nervous system. Premature aging is not primarily a skin problem. It is a regulation problem. When the body remains in a constant state of tension, it diverts energy away from repair and renewal. A simple daily habit of conscious relaxation combined with breath awareness directly addresses this root cause. The body is designed to renew itself continuously. Cells regenerate, tissues repair, and balance is restored when the internal environment is stable. However, chronic stress disrupts this process. When the nervous system is overstimulated, circulation becomes uneven, muscles remain contracted, and nerve signals become distorted. The face, neck, and upper chest are especially affected because they are closely linked to emotional processing and survival responses. Over time, this imbalance shows itself as premature aging. Conscious relaxation is not the same as lying down or being inactive. Many people rest physically while remaining mentally tense. True relaxation begins with awareness. It requires noticing where effort is being held unnecessarily and allowing it to dissolve without force. This is a skill, not an accident. The habit begins by setting aside a few minutes each day to sit upright, remain still, and observe the body from within. When attention is brought to the face, most people are surprised by how much tension they discover. The forehead may be tight even without thought. The jaw may be clenched without emotion. The eyes may be working as if searching for something. These patterns are learned through years of repetition. Conscious relaxation interrupts them. The moment tension is observed without resistance, the nervous system begins to downshift. Breath awareness amplifies this effect. The breath is the fastest way to influence the autonomic nervous system. Slow, controlled breathing through the nose activates the parasympathetic response, which signals safety to the body. When exhalations are slightly longer than inhalations, the body receives a clear message: there is no threat. This message allows muscles to release, blood vessels to open, and nerve signaling to normalize. Improved circulation is one of the first benefits of this habit. Tense muscles compress blood vessels, reducing the flow of oxygen and nutrients to the skin and underlying tissues. When muscles soften, circulation returns. The face begins to receive the nourishment it needs to maintain tone, elasticity, and color. This is not a cosmetic effect, it is a physiological one. Healthy circulation supports cellular regeneration, collagen production, and waste removal. Nerve balance is equally important. The face is rich in nerve endings and closely connected to the brain. Chronic tension overstimulates these nerves, leading to dullness, asymmetry, and loss of sensitivity. Conscious relaxation quiets excessive nerve activity and restores clear communication between the brain and the facial muscles. Over time, expressions become more natural, movements more coordinated, and the face regains its responsiveness. Muscle harmony refers to balance rather than strength. Many facial muscles are overworked while others are underused. This imbalance pulls the face out of alignment. One side may dominate. Certain expressions become fixed. Conscious relaxation allows dominant muscles to release so that underused muscles can re-engage naturally. The result is not stiffness or control, but fluidity. A harmonious face moves easily and rests fully. This daily habit also retrains emotional patterns. Emotions are not abstract concepts, they are physical experiences. Each emotion triggers a specific muscular and breathing response. When these responses are repeated without resolution, they become stored in the body. Conscious relaxation with breath awareness creates space for these patterns to unwind. Without reliving or analyzing emotions, the body releases them through stillness. Consistency is more important than intensity. 5 minutes practiced daily has a deeper impact than long sessions practiced occasionally. The nervous system learns through repetition. Each session reinforces a new baseline of relaxation. Over time, this baseline carries into daily life. The face begins to rest even during activity. The breath remains steady under pressure. Aging slows because tension no longer accumulates. This habit also improves sleep, which further supports rejuvenation. A relaxed nervous system allows deeper rest. During deep sleep, growth hormone is released, tissues repair, and the face recovers from daily stress. Many people age prematurely not because they lack sleep, but because they never fully relax. Conscious relaxation teaches the body how to let go. It is important to understand that reversal does not mean erasing time. It means restoring function. When circulation, nerve balance, and muscle harmony return, the face expresses vitality regardless of age. Lines soften not because they are forced away, but because the tension that created them dissolves. The skin becomes clearer because internal systems are functioning properly. This practice also cultivates self-respect. Setting aside time each day to regulate the body sends a message of care and discipline. The body responds positively to this attention. When the relationship with the body improves, appearance follows naturally. The face becomes a reflection of inner order rather than inner strain. Many people abandon simple practices because they underestimate them. They mistake simplicity for weakness. In reality, simplicity requires precision and patience. To sit still, breathe consciously, and release tension without distraction is a challenge in a restless world. But this challenge is exactly what makes the practice effective. It addresses the cause rather than the symptom. Premature aging is not an enemy to fight. It is a signal to listen. The body is asking for regulation, not intervention. A simple daily habit of conscious relaxation and breath awareness answers that request directly. Over time, the body responds with balance. The face responds with life, and what appears as reversal is simply the natural state being restored. The face is not just a collection of muscles and skin, it is a direct extension of the nervous system. Every thought, every emotion, and every internal reaction passes through it. Before words are spoken, the face reveals the state of the mind. This is why people can sense tension, anger, or peace in someone, even when they say nothing. The face is the nervous system made visible. When the nervous system is calm, the face rests naturally. Muscles release without effort. The eyes regain depth and warmth. Expressions flow instead of being forced. But when the nervous system is overstimulated, the face becomes a mask of defense. Muscles tighten to protect. Expressions freeze. Symmetry is lost as certain muscles dominate and others weaken. What many people call aging is often the face adapting to long-term nervous imbalance. The nervous system has two primary modes, survival and restoration. In survival mode, the body prepares to react. Muscles tense, breathing becomes shallow, blood is directed toward essential organs. In restoration mode, the body repairs, regenerates, and balances itself. Facial softness belongs to restoration. Facial hardness belongs to survival. The problem is that many people live almost permanently in survival mode, even when no real threat exists. Mental restlessness is one of the greatest contributors to facial aging. When the mind constantly analyzes, compares, anticipates, or worries, the nervous system never fully settles. The face mirrors this internal noise. The brow remains slightly furrowed. The eyes remain alert. The jaw stays ready to react. Over time, these micro-expressions become permanent patterns. The face no longer returns to neutrality. Calmness is not emotional numbness. It is clarity without resistance. When the mind is calm, it does not suppress emotions. It processes them efficiently. This efficiency reduces the need for muscular guarding. The face can then return to its natural state, which is neither tense nor loose, but balanced. This balance is what creates natural symmetry. Facial symmetry is often misunderstood as a genetic trait. While bone structure sets a foundation, muscle balance determines expression. When the nervous system is imbalanced, one side of the face may work harder than the other. This happens because emotional and habitual patterns favor certain muscle groups. Over time, the face becomes uneven, not because of age, but because of chronic imbalance. Calmness restores communication across the nervous system, allowing muscles to coordinate evenly again. Eyes are especially sensitive indicators of nervous system health. Calm eyes are not dull. They are receptive. They reflect light differently. There is moisture, openness, and presence. When the nervous system is overloaded, the eyes lose this quality. They become sharp or vacant. Fine muscles around the eyes tighten, creating lines that deepen over time. When calmness returns, these muscles soften, and the eyes regain their vitality. The mouth and jaw reveal how a person relates to pressure. A clenched jaw signals resistance. A relaxed jaw signals adaptability. Chronic clenching affects not only the lower face, but also the neck, shoulders, and posture. This chain reaction distorts facial alignment. When the nervous system calms, the jaw releases automatically. No effort is needed. The release travels upward and downward, restoring harmony throughout the face. Calmness also affects circulation. A regulated nervous system allows blood vessels to expand and contract appropriately. This ensures steady delivery of oxygen and nutrients to the skin. Healthy circulation gives a face color, warmth, and responsiveness. Without it, the face appears dull or drained. No external product can replace this internal process. Many people try to control their facial appearance by consciously holding expressions or performing exercises without addressing the nervous system. This often adds more tension. True change occurs when the cause is addressed. When the mind becomes calm, the face changes on its own. This change is subtle but unmistakable. It is often described as looking alive rather than young. Aliveness is the quality of presence. It is felt, not measured. A calm nervous system allows the face to respond to the moment instead of reacting to memory or fear. This responsiveness makes expressions genuine. Smiles reach the eyes. Stillness feels full rather than empty. The face becomes a clear channel for inner life instead of a barrier. This is why some people appear peaceful even in old age. Their faces carry lines, but not hardness. The lines move. The face breathes. There is openness rather than rigidity. This is the result of a nervous system that has learned to settle rather than fight. Cultivating calmness is a daily practice, not a personality trait. It begins with awareness of breath, posture, and internal reactions. Each time the nervous system is guided back to balance, the face benefits. Over time, this balance becomes the default state. The face no longer carries unnecessary effort. The face does not need to be fixed. It needs to be listened to. It is constantly communicating the state of the nervous system. When you calm the mind, you are not trying to improve your appearance. You are restoring order. The softness, symmetry, and aliveness that follow are natural consequences. A calm mind does not force youthfulness. It reveals it, not as an age, but as a quality of presence. When the nervous system is at ease, the face remembers how to be at ease as well. And in that ease, the true vitality of the human face becomes visible again. True rejuvenation is often misunderstood because modern culture teaches people to look outward for solutions. When signs of aging appear, the instinct is to correct the surface, to adjust what can be seen, touched, or altered quickly. Yet surface-level change rarely lasts, because it does not address the condition that produced the change in the first place. Rejuvenation is not something applied to the body, it is something restored within it. What becomes visible on the face is only the final expression of deeper inner order. The body is not designed to constantly repair itself under pressure. Renewal happens when the system is regulated. Inner discipline creates this regulation. Discipline does not mean harsh control or rigid routines. It means showing up consistently, even when the practice feels uneventful. 5 minutes a day may appear insignificant, but the nervous system responds more to repetition than intensity. Consistency builds trust between the mind and the body. When the body trusts that it will be given time to settle, it begins to release what it has been holding for years. Stillness is the gateway to rejuvenation. In stillness, the body reveals what movement hides. When external stimulation is removed, internal patterns surface. Tightness becomes noticeable. Breath patterns become clear. Emotional residue stored in posture and expression begins to show itself. Many people avoid stillness because it exposes discomfort. They mistake this discomfort as a sign that something is wrong, when in fact it is a sign that something is being seen for the first time. Practicing stillness for a few minutes each day teaches the body that it no longer needs to stay alert. The nervous system begins to shift out of survival mode. Muscles soften, breathing deepens naturally, circulation improves without effort. This internal shift is what creates visible change. The face does not need to be manipulated. It responds automatically when inner conditions are right. Inner discipline also trains awareness. Without awareness, tension becomes habitual. With awareness, tension loses its power. The simple act of noticing tightness in the face or jaw begins the process of release. This is because awareness interrupts unconscious patterns. Over time, the body learns a new baseline. Instead of returning to tension after moments of relaxation, it begins to return to ease. 5 minutes of daily practice may not produce dramatic changes overnight, but it produces something more valuable: direction. Aging accelerates when the body moves away from balance. Rejuvenation begins the moment that direction is reversed. Each day of consistent practice compounds the effect of the previous day. The changes may be subtle at first, but they are cumulative. What begins as relaxation becomes regulation. What begins as regulation becomes vitality. Cosmetic approaches often focus on controlling appearance. True rejuvenation focuses on restoring function. When muscles work in harmony, when nerves communicate clearly, and when circulation is steady, the face regains its natural expression. This expression is not frozen or exaggerated. It is responsive, alive, and grounded. People often describe it as looking rested or peaceful, even if they cannot explain why. Stillness also teaches patience. The body operates on its own timeline. It responds best when it is not rushed or forced. 5 minutes a day respects this rhythm. It allows the body to open gradually. This gradual process is sustainable. Unlike quick fixes, it does not shock the system. Instead, it invites cooperation. Consistency is what transforms a simple practice into a powerful one. Skipping days breaks the conversation with the body. Showing up daily, even briefly, maintains continuity. The body begins to expect that time. It prepares for it. Over weeks and months, the nervous system becomes more efficient at settling quickly. What once took effort becomes natural. This inner shift influences more than appearance. Posture improves. Breathing becomes quieter. Movements become smoother. Emotional reactions soften. These changes are interconnected. The face reflects all of them. It becomes a summary of inner state rather than a mask. True rejuvenation cannot be rushed because it is not about erasing time. It is about removing what does not belong. Tension, over-effort, and internal noise are not natural states. They are learned adaptations. 5 minutes a day is enough to begin unlearning them. When discipline, stillness, and consistency come together, the body remembers its original intelligence. The face responds because it is part of that intelligence. Lines soften not because they are attacked, but because the tension that created them is no longer fed. Expression becomes fluid because the nervous system is no longer defensive. This is why rejuvenation, achieved through inner practice, feels different. It is not brittle. It does not require maintenance through force. It deepens with time rather than fading. It becomes part of how you live rather than something you apply. 5 minutes a day is not about doing more. It's about doing less with full attention. In that simplicity lies its power. When the inner environment becomes orderly, the outer appearance follows naturally. What you see in the mirror then is not a younger face, but a truer one.